I am always looking to learn new things.
Knock it off!
At this point in my life, I like to think that I've conquered an understanding of the basics of my craft. However, I recently learned something new, something so simple I had to ask myself, how did I not know this before? Last week, I made a video comparing the differences between brush-on, spray, and wipe-on polyurethane. In the video, I used this $20 store-bought can of wipe-on poly. Now, a YouTube friend of mine named Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark. Thanks for joining me here in my wee workshop in County Down in Northern Ireland.
He says that he makes his own wipe-on polyurethane, and the recipe can't be any easier. Take 50% oil-based polyurethane and 50% mineral spirits or paint thinner. Make sure you stir your poly, especially if you're using satin, because it contains flatteners that need to be distributed throughout the product. Shake. That's it. Now it's ready to use. You can use more or less paint thinner or mineral spirits with your wipe-on poly. It doesn't matter that much. It just affects how much poly is remaining on the wood. Now, I wasted 20 bucks on this stuff. I've seen it upwards of $30 for 1 quart. That's twice the price for half the product.
You're a cheat and a swindler.
So the next 2 questions are, why do I even need wipe-on poly, and how do I use it? Now there's lots of reasons why I think it's a good idea to start using wipe-on polyurethane. First of all, brush-on poly takes a lot longer to dry, and the drying time means that you're more likely to have airborne and dust particles land on your project. Number 2, no brush cleaning. Good brushes are not cheap, and they're not very easy to clean. You have to use a lot of paint thinner or mineral spirits over and over to get this thing clean. Now that adds an additional cost. Thirdly, this stuff is so easy to use. You simply take a rag and wipe it on. You get similar results as using the brush on. You just need to keep applying additional coats until you get the desired finish. Next, I would say less stink. This stuff just stinks more. If you use a thinner version, it's going to dry quicker and you're likely to have less odors in the air. Now, most importantly, making your own wipe-on poly is cheaper. You never need to buy this stuff again. How do you apply this stuff? You can either pour this directly to your project and wipe it down with a rag, or you can take a clean, dry rag. I like to bunch it up in a little ball and then use this as my brush. Simply pour some onto the rag and wipe it on the project. Let's go put this on a tabletop that I've been working on in the garage, and you'll see how this works. This is mahogany wood. It looks pretty good for veneer, don't you think? My plan is to put epoxy on here, but first I need to seal the wood, and wipe-on poly is going to be great for this. After 1 or 2 coats, it'll be ready for the epoxy finish. You'll see this project in an upcoming video. I ended up pouring the wipe-on poly into this squirt bottle. It makes it easier to apply. It's incredibly difficult to make a mistake using this stuff. Just don't apply too much so that it pools up, and try to wipe it on in the direction of the grain. Now, if I wasn't using epoxy, I would end up applying about 6 layers of wipe-on poly. After each coat dries, I always like to sand with about 300 or 220 grit sandpaper, but with the wipe-on, I might wait until after the second coat because this stuff goes on so thin. After using it, I put the rag in a Ziploc bag and remove the air. This will keep it from drying out for a few days. For my concoction of wipe-on poly, I'm using an oil-based semi-gloss, but of course you can use a satin or glossy finish as well. I have heard that you can possibly use a water-based polyurethane, but the results are probably not going to be the same. So try it at your own risk. Now, after Mark told me about this tip, I found other YouTube videos explaining the process, so I still can't figure out how I missed it after all these years. You can check out Mark's YouTube channel. He has some fun and interesting videos, and a link right here should take you to his channel. Wipe-on polyurethane. That's today's quick tip.